If you ask a parent, they might call it intuitive. If you ask a musician, they might call it inspiring. To a doctor, it's groundbreaking. To a CEO, it's powerful. To a teacher, it's the future. If you ask a child, she might call it magic. And if you asked us, we'd say it's just getting started.
Moving a little bit ahead into chapter 3, 4. And we'll be discussing a little bit of something different from what we began yesterday, but it's actually a build-up. We move on to discussing strategies, how to develop strategies with information systems, and how to implement them to generate some kind of competitive advantage. Now, one of the things that we discussed yesterday was that the challenges of today is making everybody think about how to compete based on information. So whoever is able to have information on time and is able to leverage that information can be able to gain a very good competitive edge at the marketplace. So information is a key thing, and because you have to manage information, find a way of collecting it and then sharing it at the right time and applying to the appropriate processes in the organization. It was important for us to study what information systems are. So today we'll go a little bit step and then understand what strategies are there that can be used to analyze how firms can use information systems to gain a competitive edge, and also by aligning them to their functions, the different functions of the organization. So in a natural sense, the first question we'll be asking ourselves about what is an organization. So those are the things that we're looking at. Beyond that, what are the features of an organization? What are the elements of an organization that information systems can be added to? And we'll look at two different strategic frameworks for evaluating how information systems can be used to support company strategies. One of them is Porter's competitive forces model. Now you know about that. Yeah, I know about that. Because this is more of a strategic management theory. So you see it in marketing, you see it in management, you see it in finance, you see it in different economics too. And he has a lot of frameworks. The other one that he has the value chain model. Have you done that one too? No. Some are saying yes, some are saying no. Yes. It was your test by hearing. Some read it somehow. Some remember it somehow. Okay, so we look at that. That will make the class very interesting and easy for you. But I thought you have not heard about Michael Porter. He's still alive. He teaches in Harvard. I don't know. But you can actually Google Michael Porter in YouTube and you see some of his lectures. He does his lectures, it's always video. And he's a head or a president of one of the strategic business units in Harvard, like one of the masters of knowledge in Harvard. So you can find out himself. So he's quite old. In YouTube, you see his video there teaching and even talking about how his models, although they were postulated quite in the 70s and quite long ago, they are still relevant today. All those have also argue that doesn't apply to every country or doesn't apply to every business. He still argues that it's still relevant with some few modifications. So I would advise you that go to YouTube and then Google his name, Michael Porter, and you see some of the lectures. Even on all the different frameworks, he still explains them in normal lectures from Harvard. Now, what is an organization in your own perspective? What are the definitions are written down? If I should ask you an examples, or what is an organization? Are you doing ODM? What is an organization? This is why you are class. What is an organization?
It's on my own words. It's a system which have resources.
So it's the next one for me.
I didn't see that. I'm just trying to
start from your own words.
Yes.
You're not mentioning resources.
I didn't look at it. You know, I was talking to him for a call.
Okay, continue. I'm listening.
I have said that in my own position is resources and a quick interactive environment to get an output.
Some of you work in different firms, so you should be able to tell me different perspective of what an organization is. Yeah.
So social entity with more than one person which convert raw materials.
Okay, it's a social entity which has more than one person which converts raw material into an output. So everybody is saying there's a conversion, there is some resources, and there's an output. Is there any other definition that is different?
I would say that it's a group of people working together to achieve a common goal.
Are you sure that everybody is working together in the organization? When the time is up for them to fire you, they can just look into your face and say that you're fired. Working together to, ideally, working together to achieve a common goal. Any other? Yes.
It's a structure that brings use of internal and external resources to achieve a resource.
It's a structure that makes use of what? Internal and external resources to achieve results. That's very good. Structure. Okay. All of you are done. I think you are basically mentioning the technical definition. Not much more of the behavioral, also the other dimension, the behavioral definition. So one, in the technical sense, an organization is seen as maybe a system or maybe a set of interrelated components that would work together to pick resources from the environment in order to produce an output. He also said the same thing, that the resources may be internal and there was external. That means that there is internal resources that are drawn maybe employees, the assets the company may have, and then the external resources that's the environment, the customers, and all those people, all those other entities that exist in the environment that the company may interact with to be able to produce output. So one fundamental thing that I like about all that you said is that there should be an output. There should be why we are coming together as an organization. He says that she said that there's a common goal. Others will also say that there is results. All these are defined in different ways. Some people may have it as profit-oriented results, others will be non-profit-oriented results. Some may be social value they want to create, others may be something else. So there is a particular output. Then there's another definition that looks at it more in the legal sense. That says that a formal legal entity. That means that there should be some kind of governing process that makes it called an organization. Who says it's an organization? Yes, we can say in the society we have come together to do that. What is the legitimacy? Is there any legislation or contracts that is coming together so that we are bound to be doing this thing? Because you are saying, you mentioned that they come together and they do something. But why are they coming together? Isn't it because of common purpose? If tomorrow morning I don't want to be, can I just walk out? And most of you know that in our legal organization, you can't just get up and say you are leaving. There's some contracts that you have that binds you to constrain or enable your activities. That is why we have the behavioral side. That there's a collection of what? Rights, privileges, and obligations and responsibilities that are balanced. That maybe the members of the institution come together and try to find a balance of it. and through that, they go through conflict and conflict resolution. But as he said earlier, all this is for the purpose of what? Coming out of an output. So both of them are right, but just that the most important thing that we need to understand is that there is a structure that has come together, a set of people that have come together. There is an output, there is some process, and there is some need of resources to be able to generate the output. So looking at it from a diagrammatic perspective, this is how the technical definition looks like. So we have an organization, internally there are some processes going on. Might be a production process. You have to put inputs from the outside and to come out with an output. And you also should know that this same output becomes somebody's input. How do you understand what I'm saying? The farmer, workers form some kind of a mixed organization. They produce maybe cocoa beans. Cocoa board goes to buy them and also produces what? Chocolates. Somebody takes the chocolate, takes it to what? Maybe Kuala and sells it from there. So somebody's input is another person's output. And sometimes some company, they work their input is their output. In some sense. They may produce, in one of the divisions is producing something, another division is taking up that same output and using it for another process. For example, a company that produces and sells. I hope you understand what I'm trying to say. So we can, that's the technical definition. But in the behavioral one, we tend to see that we have the formal institution in there, then there's some structure, and some rules and regulations that govern why the organization is and how it operates. And there's some processes too that the environmental resources go through and lead to environmental outputs. Now, the reason why we're trying to get the basic understanding of organization is because we are going to try to see how we can align IT to organizational functions and strategies. Now, even though we have both the behavioral technical definition, I have a different definition of organization I want to share. And you can then do your own perspective concerning it. An organization is, I see it as a collection of individuals who left unattended will likely pursue individual goals. There is a similar definition in your book by a guy in the 70s. He was also explaining the same thing. I don't know whether I will just quickly read through. So that those who have got the sheet 12 and the sheet 11, you can see whether you're on the same. Yeah. If you are page 115, the last paragraph. The last paragraph. Information technology also can be based in several course. According to agency theory, the firm is viewed as a nexus of contracts among self-interested individuals, rather than a unified profit maximizing entity. That is what I was trying to also say. That typically, the institution, the people who are coming together are self-interested individuals. Is that not true? That is why today, if you fall dead, you will find someone who will replace you. He said yes. So I hope you agree with that. Without, if left unattended, they will likely pursue individual goals. Like how some of you go there and are taking Facebook the whole day. Is it true? Or you go to maybe some ministries and whilst I'm waiting for the document, the person just doing other things on the computer and chatting. And you are in the queue while you are chatting. Waiting. So that's how it is. If left unattended, they will likely pursue individual goals. So within an organization, you have to have methods of what? Ensuring supervision and managing employee time. Is that not true? Otherwise, you will likely pursue individual goals. So a collection of individuals who left unattended will largely pursue individual goals. That's just the definition I put in here. Hence the need for processes like the rights, the privileges, the values, the norms, and then again, there's a need for some structure so that people can be able to pursue similar goals in the organization. So, one thing the information system does in the start off is it enables us to observe the environment very well. So, in this particular diagram, what we tend to realize is that the information system stands here, and through it, we get information concerning how the environment, what is happening in the environment. We use information systems in one way or another to monitor the environment, to monitor what is going on. For example, in some firms spend considerable time just listening to radio to know what other competitors are doing, depending on what kind of industry you are in. Other firms spend their time on the internet actually monitoring news and information, because every news that is happening in maybe got an oil producing company, every news happening in the Gulf affects them. I hope you understand what I'm trying to say. So to some extent, we use information system to study the environment, then we get information from competitors, then information from governments, customers, financial institutions, and then even monitor the cultural environments that we work in, so that we could be able to work effectively as a firm. So that if your information system is not well aligned with your processes, you may not be able to get the right information at the right time. And that's what we're going to try and explore throughout the session today. So how can you align it to your strategy so that you can get the best out of them? First of all, we mentioned the impact of the IT on the firm. So let's look at some of the technology and economic impacts of technology. Economic impacts of technology. Now there are two impacts we are going to look at. One of them on the impact on transaction cost. And then that's the cost of participating in the market, finding other suppliers, finding your buyers. That's what we call transaction costs. And then the cost, another type of cost we'll be looking at agency costs, the cost of managing your employees and supervising them. Now IT has an impact on these two types of costs economically. First of all, because as a firm, you need to, when you are out there, you are producing some outputs, and you need to get the outputs to some customers. You are always in the market trying to find out who is the best customer for the product, or who are you targeting. Secondly, you also need to find trading partners who you can buy your supplies from at a very good price. Hence, if you are able to use the information system to coordinate these two activities better, you may be able to reduce your cost, your transactional cost. Initially, if I am selling, let's say, tomatoes, and I want to sell it to a large population of people in, let's say, Denver campus, what do I have to do? I have to go to room by room, house by house, building by building, and sell it. But if I have information technology, maybe what I can do is I put a signboard there, tomatoes fresh from Tamale. Call this number. Haven't you been seeing that? And then by calling in, you know that by the time I walk to your place, at least there is a very good possible chance that you will buy something because we have negotiated for the phone. It's just like how the people want to sell their cars, buy me or for Sally. And then they write, no Sally. Or Sam. So the car before it is sold is already for somebody. Sally is very rich, so she's always selling cars. So Sam writes that, call this number. Nobody writes price. Always write, call this number. And when you call the number, you got the right number down, that number is always active. You call it, say, yes, how can I help? How much is your Toyota Corolla? 24,000. How much will you give? And they started. So when we start realizing is that we get an opportunity of using technology to reduce our cost of going to the market and finding buyers and finding suppliers and finding sellers for the products that we have. So we can sit at one place to do that. And hence we are reducing our cost of what? Transaction, our cost of coordination, of getting into the marketplace and getting our product out there. Good. Secondly, the things that we cannot do, we can also what? Outsource them. And if you know what outsourcing is, then you find a better person who has a core competence in what you are trying to do and will do better. What I mean by that is if you are doing marketing, sales, and distribution at the same time, and you realize that distribution means that I have to buy cars and maintain yourself, what do you have to do? You can outsource distribution so that a firm that has a network of cars and network of depots can just collect it from me and distribute on your behalf, which actually reduces your assets that you need to invest in your business. And maybe you outsource it. So they did very well, better than you, and maintain it at a cheaper price than you owning all these properties, owning all these employees. Because if you are going to own all these employees and properties, mind you, you also have to pay for the rents for it, your maintenance, the security. Even when some of them will be there, you don't generate any rents, you don't generate any money, but because you own them, you have to take care of them. So outsourcing gives us an opportunity to send out sometimes our core competencies to other divisions or other institutions which can implement it. Casapreco did that around 2003. When they used to do everything themselves, production they would do, sales and marketing and distribution they would do. So then they realized that they started getting competition from the foreign products that are coming to the market. Casapreco was one of the very first companies in Ghana and beverage companies, alcoholic beverage companies in Ghana that focused on using local appellations on their names of the products. Because at the time they came into the market in the 1988, when they were doing their drink in the man's backyard or in his house. At that time, most of the drinks were being sold in Mumbai, and it was the indigenous drinks like application and were not being packaged or bottled well. But the other drinks like Jack Daniels and all the other ones like Johnny Walker's come in very good packages. So they realized that one of the ways of getting to the market was to do a good packaging and also have a Ghanaian drink went in groups. It's a social event. So you have to find a way of creating a social connotation around it. That is why they started sponsoring adolescents and then even took their name and name. You know the white Casapreco is an affiliation of the chief of the Masari. So they actually put it on their drink, and almost all the other drinks that are coming has some local connotation so that you create the desire to drink and the desire to relate to it. That is why when other foreign drinks came in, they realized that same competition in the early 2000s. You could see that a company changed their drink shandy to Boswell, if you can remember. Yeah. And there was a dance where you go under the rope, and then you go dance and come out up there. Now the whole idea about that advert was to show you that their drinks also connects to the society. Then that really hits Casapreco very much, and you have to go back and see that if all this competition is coming on, then we have to start doing what? We start looking at what is our core competence. We can do production. We can do sales and marketing. Let us outsource distribution. So then they started outsourcing distribution. They built their website and they put some of the documents on their website and could actually become a distributor. And they even had a list of the distributors on their website. Now, it later on helped them because they could really direct some of their resources back into what was important for them and even expand the brand into other products. Aroma and all those other ones came later on. So you have to know that you need to reduce your transaction cost. Another way of reducing your transaction cost is also by using IT for other kinds of purposes, like meeting of employees. Another thing is like, our video conference, you don't need to be there, and you can actually have meetings. Or you are not heard of, Skype. Yes. Some of you do that. So even some companies even use the very basic ones, like Skype, to actually do meetings with some of the suppliers and other clients, and customers all over. Now, as of now, some companies like I told you, Fidelity, even using Facebook to connect with customers and even answer some queries directly. So you've got video conferencing technology that can also help us. That you don't need to go to Kumasi where the client is. You can sit in Accra and connect with you. So transaction costs, coming back to what I said. IT always budget transaction costs for the firm, making it worthwhile for the firm to transact with other firms rather than grow the number of employees. So instead of having more employees, more assets, you rather reduce your assets and use IT to leverage or network with the same people that you wanted to reach. Let me just give you a very simple example. If I have employees, customers in range,
Do you reduce your liability or your assets? Because your staff in another way is an asset at the same as a liability.
That one too is true. I'm not looking at it from that particular, I'm thinking about the cost of it. But okay, if I use the word liability here, then what I was going to explain will come off better to you. For example, I go and get a deal to supply maybe these chairs to customers in Kumasi. Then because the deal is very big, I'm thinking about the fact that I should have a customer service representative traveling between here and Kumasi and Accra. And every time he's traveling, now hire somebody new, I have to pay for his social insurance and for his social security. I have to look after the other training allowance, all those allowances that come are going to be given to that person. However, the person may just be traveling to the place once in a month or once in 3 months, and be doing most of the discussions with them, can do it over phone. So why don't I even train an internal person who will do the traveling once in a month, and that person can add it to his job. Without this, they use IT to have a consistent and maybe continuous engagement with that same office. So I give them a dedicated phone number. I tell them that you can always be online with us. If you have any problem, call us, we will respond to you. And if there's a need for us to get somebody on the bus to bring to you. There's no need for me to hire somebody, maybe relocate him to Kumasi, give him a house there, and then pay for all that. So even though he's coming as an asset, it's a liability because at the end of the day, I'm spending much more than the value. But the investment I'll do in IT may be relatively could be high at that one point in time. But over time, I gain than managing that person who I'm going to pay his end of service benefit. I hope you understand what I'm trying to say. So with that, I will not grow the number of employees. I'll rather invest in IT. Because this is how the graph looks like. Your transaction cost increases as your firm size increases. No, as your firm size increases, you are forced to increase your transaction cost. Especially when you are getting more opportunities, like what I said. The traditional way is to start in hire more employees. Oh, the job has come. Hire more employees. So if IT can let you keep the firm size where it is, or even reduce the firm size, then you are likely to also be reducing your what? Your transaction cost. And then your returns on that particular project could be high. But this is not for all cases. There are some cases at the initial of the job, you really need to hire somebody and relocate him to that place. And if possible, that means that you are going to add it to whatever you're going to charge the company that you are doing the transaction for, you are doing the consultancy for, you're doing that job for. This is one set. But let's look at the other side, which will also further explain what the other gentleman wanted to look at. The other side is the agency cost. The agency cost is the cost of managing the internal resource. That's the employee himself. So managing and supervising. You know, when I bring in a new person, I may have to also give them a supervisor. And some supervisors, the more mentees they have under them, the more maybe if you are one person, you are giving him, okay, if you are mentoring one person, you are giving people 500 and a little bit extra every 3 months. So if I give him more mentees, I'm also increasing his how much I have to pay to him. And the new person I brought, you have to pay him more. So if IT can reduce agency costs by making the firms grow without adding the cost of supervising and without adding the cost of new employees. But I will end up spending more on the employees if I keep on just increasing my number of employees. It's just like what happens in the ministries. Like after some time, you have very redundant names in the system. They are not actually doing anything because some projects come for a time. And I don't know about you, but when you realize that in some foreign institutions, they like apart from the cost, everything is now on contract. So when you are coming in as a new employee, you know that it's just 3 months. When the project is over, you are going. But traditionally, there are quite a number of companies in Ghana. They will end up hiring a person, even though the 3 months will be over. They have brought a person in, or will find because you know they you have to find something else for you to do. The guy keeps hanging around, and it becomes a liability of being an asset. He's at the end of the month, you have to pay him. But what value are you getting from him? And there are others too who are put in positions that they cannot do their job. Or because of IT, we can replace his job the job that three people are doing with one technology. So it's either we scale these people and put them in these departments. Otherwise, software will come and replace them and still be paying for them to be there. So change management along IT is a very big challenge in many institutions. Sometimes you have to do a backup. There was a firm, a hotel in Egypt. If you ever tried King Hotel goes online, you Google, you can read about it. And this hotel wanted to go online and start doing reservations online. Not that everybody's doing that. You can book online. However, they are forgetting that the current system in the hotel is the marketing officers go out, find people to come and book, and they get commissions. So now you bring the software, the marketing officer has to redirect the person to what the software to be the book and to be the reservation. How does he get his commission? So when they came to install the system in the firm, one of the challenges they had is they didn't know many of the internal staff didn't know about IT, so they needed to be trained. So they had to bring in those who knew something about IT. And initially they just wanted to take their team away, but they started fighting because they know the customers. Even though they don't know IT, they know the customer. They can tell our customer that now our manager is not very good, our hotel is not very good, go to Sada Hotel. So the manager needed have to find a way of balancing what the change. So he paired them up. New guy work with old guy, and then help the old guy teach you something about how the firm works, and also teach you how to use the computer. And even though they were not doing any bookings through them, but through the reservation, they still were paying some commissions to them. If they are, some of the marketing officers have their own clients, like this guy, his family is mine, any kind of family comes. Even though you booked him in, I brought him to the hotel. I know in many hotels and then they are just like that. Some clients are there, when they come, they ask for a particular person to talk to work because they know the kind of bedroom, the room they want, they know the kind of settings they want in their room and everything. So they kept on paying them for some time, I think for about 3 months, until they were able to train them to get to know much more about technology and then take over their roles very well. So you can't just, even though IT can help us reduce agency costs, you need to understand that you can't just go in the distribution to replace what the internal staff. Maybe it can help you reduce or prevent you from hiring more employees. But you always need to understand the change management that comes from this. So we have seen 2 economic impacts of what IT does. One, in terms of transaction costs, we going out and looking for our customers, new customers, new suppliers, new buyers. You could have sit on one place, advertise the thing on the web, or advertise it through the radio, and we would end up having the same impact. Then secondly, agency costs. Reducing the cost of managing and supervising employees, and reducing the need for us to increase the number of employees for a given task or role. My take on this is the fact that still, when it comes to certain type of businesses and certain type of target markets, you still need more employees to go out. An example is what we call, I call sun banking. That nature of what the Nigerian banks do, that they take national service personnel, put them in the sun and tell them to look for clients. So you know about that, they put it there and say you, by the end of the week, you are supposed to bring 7 or 8, they give you a quota. If you are not able to meet it, you see them calling all their friends that come and open an account, So they can put them in a marketplace and they're working and making sure they mobilize all the resources. What the sun market is that they are working the sun looking for market clients. But you don't want to market. Where's the new market? You do it. The new sun market. Okay, so come on, see the office in the camp. You don't say go to market. First capital class or yes. All those other ones do. And they are done a lot of access and working a lot of money out from the system. They send them to the market. But some of the people will never step at the banking place. In fact, I was one man that somebody came there and said that the guy the sales rep came and they told them to come. And he said, "Did you take your name?" He said, "You phoned them." Yes, he said he took your name, but they said couldn't sign, so you have to come and use down prints. They said, "I can't that day." You know, now you are picture yourself, so you know. Are you sure you are doing well on the stock exchange? Let's not go there. Okay. So side banking will become one of the ways, is one of the ways that banks are able to get new clients. And that one, if you advertise on online, you're not bringing the kind of clients you're looking for. You're looking for people in the market. Unless you want to use OKFM and then this effort. Now you can build user want to attract the kind of people that you want. So with agents, that's the same thing with agency costs. We can reduce firms as firms grow in size and complexity. Traditionally, they experience rising agency costs. So if we can prevent them from growing in size, the tendency is that we also reduce our agency costs.
The graph is which against which?
Oh, firm size is here, agency cost is down here. It's in your book, right? One of them. Yeah, page 116. So one other thing that IT does is it helps to flatten organizations. What by flatten organizations is that it makes decision making pushed to the lower levels. So that more people can make decisions at a given time because the information is accessible to a lot of people. Now this is a little bit conflicting because sometimes somebody is not authorized to make a decision, but now he's seen the information and can make a decision. It's happened in a number of hospitals before where because of the kind of registration of employee patient data and lab results. And some of the lab results come by email. And now a head desk opens it, he sees the information and he knows that based on this lab results, he can prescribe ABC or tell the client ABC. And sometimes nurses are forced to, because of what the information they have already seen, to do that. And they go and do it, and the doctors come and complain that they are actually encroaching on what they are supposed to do. This has been very something that has been reported in North America, where there is a lot of computerization, the patient data and histories, everything is there. So after somebody has worked for about 10 years as a nurse, he knows certain things intuitively, even though she might not have the qualification of a medical doctor. So sometimes when you see some of the lab results and the patient's history, he can tell you or advise you on certain things. And doctors think that it's their role to do that. But now what information is made available to them, and she is the one compiling and bringing it to your desk. So sometimes she knows the information and she can actually tell patients what to do. And that's one of the reasons why we say that IT actually flattens the organization. It takes decision making to a lower levels. People now have information, they can make certain decisions. But that is why you need to still keep the hierarchy, rules and regulations. So that you know that even though you are seeing it, the information, you know you're not authorized to do that. You're not authorized to even tell the client. You're not authorized to notify the client about whatever it's supposed to do. For example, if you go to a shop and you're using your debit card or a credit card to buy something, and so posing that credit card has been flagged. Sometimes in some shops, instead of they swipe it and the message comes on the screen. Some of the message can come that the credit card has been flagged, it's a stolen credit card, and call the credit card agency. And the person will card it and call, and sometimes they advise where they need to refuse the personal account and they mention it. But when they come back to you, they tell you that I think that I'm afraid there's something wrong with your card, it doesn't seem to work. Instead of telling you that this is what has happened, that your card is a stolen card, because you cannot actually accuse you. For all you know, you didn't steal it, maybe your son took it and used it to do something, it's overdrawn, or it's maxed out. So they politely tell you something, then you say call your card company. So that you take the responsibility of calling your card company. But the person knows what is actually happening there. There's another one that if it happens in a financial institution, like you're trying to access an account, immediately what people are working in people's names. Sometimes they go into the banks and when they pay days, you are going to collect it. You know the guys in Ghana are working in the UK. So they have this you want to go collect your money. And by that, the child that day, the guy opens the screen and he sees the face, it doesn't look like you. Or there's something wrong with the sign check. Then you are current. What people do is that he takes his checkbook, he knows how much you are taking from Sainsbury. So he signs that against that check for the next 3 months or 4 months, while it's away. So when the time the month is up, you just tear it and you take it to the place, and then sometimes you leave the amount blank so that you can fill it, because you know when you see your payslip how much you get. Then you go cash it from his account. Now, sorry. Yes, it's risky, but you know people do it. They end up overdrawing their account. They do it in the name of friends, relatives, my pastor's son, all those things. This is the truth I'm telling you. I think some of you have had experience before. Now when you get there, they are trying to cash it out, and they realize it's not you. Well, you'll be there and they will call the police to come and carry you out. That one don't tell you are afraid. Because that one is a little bit of the sense you are trying to commit a crime. And you have actually committed a crime already by working somebody's name. So there are 2 crimes there. You are trying to have the person to take from the person's account. So that can happen. In that case, they come in and they arrest you. So sometimes information that is given to an individual based on the individual's level of the organization, he may be able to say, make a decision on it, or may not be able. You can see the information, but not make any decision based on that. The other challenge that information technology is also given is auto. In our current societies, looking at what's happening today, it has moved the competition to much more on information than the skills people just have. It's about who can have the information, the knowledge, and use it faster. So in the marketplace, firms that are able to gather information, use them, and utilize them alongside their business processes are more likely to create value than other firms who might not be able to do that. And sometimes people think that it's more about the position somebody has when he came into an organization, which is traditionally true. But sometimes you might go to some firms and you realize that, hey, even though you have been there for a long time, you might not be able to have the information. You don't know the knowledge in this particular technology. I have it. And they will give me a competitive edge in terms of hiring than you. So we always have that challenge of looking at it from that perspective. What do organizations need to do? Do you invest in the skills or you invest in information and knowledge? What will you do? You do both. Are you sure?
I'll say it depends on your competitive strategy.
It all depends on your competitive strategy. Some environments are purely skill-based. Football. Very purely skill-based. It's not how many schools, how many years of what education somebody has had. But some environments is also more about information and the ability to use the information. So now, what we're going to do is that, now that we understand how information is and what it does in organizations, we are now going to look at it specifically in different industries and try to see how can we use information to make us more competitive, or technology to make us more competitive. So we will begin by using Porter's competitive forces model. What Michael Porter discussed some time ago. You have done that transaction. So for those who have done, what is Porter's competitive forces model? Those who have done it, what is it? Okay. Okay, she is mentioning that Porter has some 5 forces model that helps you to analyze the competitive strength of a firm in the industry that is working in. And they said, what are the 5 forces?
What is an IG?
Power of the buyer.
It's an IG.
Power of government. The bargaining power of what? The supplier.
Suppliers and buyers.
So why do some firms become leaders in their industry? Michael Porter talks about the fact that a firm should be viewed in this environment according to some 5 forces that can influence how the firm operates. And those 5 forces is what you have listed out here. The bargaining power of what? The suppliers. The bargaining power of what? The buyers. The threat of what? Substitutes. Owners. The threat of what? New entrants. And the traditional competition that exists within or the rivalry that exists within the industry. Some industries are very fierce. Some industries are very fierce. In Uganda, there's a story about the fact that one of the telecom companies went on to do this promotion. It came up, I think, 555. Then MTN said, okay, you are doing 555. We are going 222. You see how low you come. And within a day, the company that did a 555 lost out. All the other firms went below the 555. And if that firm couldn't go down, and went to report to the regulator that this is unequal and unfair competition. They are giving to you. So you chose to go 555. And we wanted to go down and see whether it can come down low. So sometimes you have very strong rivalry in some industries. This is a better picture for us to see how it looks like. So you have bargaining power of suppliers, strength of new entrants, bargaining power of buyers, and then trust of substitutes. And then in the middle you have the rivalry between what? Existing firms. Now these things are relative. Porter talks about the fact that if you are able to manage these forces and understand them very well, you can be able to use certain strategies to be able to take a lead in the marketplace. Why? How is it possible? So let me just point out. Traditional competitors. All firms share a market space with competitors who are continuously devising what new products and new services. And they are also reducing the switching costs so that firms can leave other suppliers, other customers can leave you and come to join them. There is also new entrants, or there are also new entrants who can be able to enter into a particular industry. If an industry has a high volume of new entrants, that means that what? The barriers of entry to that industry is low. Entry to that industry is low. It's just like when we started some time ago the telecommunications center. As soon as it began, every corner you could see a telecommunications center. And that was one of the reasons why it was very important was that many of us in the Ghanaian community we needed to talk, like talking. And our loved ones were not at home. And sometimes it looks cool to be the one in the area who will go to the telecom center and then take 5 minutes, 10 minutes, a little, and we talk plenty. When are you coming down? So all those things. But all of a sudden, whilst we were talking, we were asking that if you are coming, bring me what? So after some time, the telecom companies were helping me go talk to their friends and loved ones who were outside. Shot themselves in the leg. They allowed people to bring more phones down, and now the phones became cheaper by the virtue of having the TV phones from Nigeria and China. Now we started having the problem where I won't go to the telecom center. It's much more about me sitting at home and calling. So we can watch it now. Then it also went on a little bit. Where will you get the airtime to buy? By the time you start realizing now your neighbor in your house or your mother is even saying airtime to you in the same house you're living in. So we've had all these interesting things that in the telecom sector we have low barriers of entry for some of the niche sectors of the sector. Niche industries within the bigger industry of the telecom sector. We are the telecommunication center. We are space to space. It came big. At some time, it also went down. Now, the reason why all of them go down faster is the market entrants find it very easy, or even other mechanisms in society will make it easy. For space to space, it got some time. I think telecom companies were even helping some of the guys who were selling airtime to move on to having their own setup. And it was also a means of advertising. I hear in some communities they can come and if you have a small house, you just paint the house red and green to be able to what, and they start giving you some of the air credits or air time for you to sell. So you have new market entrants who are coming in with lower barriers and or with less asset investments. So they have more opportunity to gain value than you. Then we move on to trend of substitutes. The reason why I wrote Casapreco, I pointed it out there is, you remember that there's a time that Casapreco, if you type go to Ghana Web, they started arresting people who were pirating their products. Especially aluminum bitters and opaque bitters, they were pirating them. Now, one of the reasons why they were pirating them is that they take the bottle and the bottle top and then they drink, they pour the empty one, half into this, and they add water and they sell it back into the market. So, got some time, the company realized that the only way we can be able to avoid piracy was to change the bottle cap. The bottle caps that were being pirated were being produced from China. So if only we can change the bottle cap into a form that cannot be reproduced or is very unique to us, then you can be able to reduce or curb the piracy. So they started talking to their partners in Italy, and they talked to some other partners in Germany. They couldn't get any. However, they had a website, and out of the blue, a company in India wrote to them and told them that they produce bottle caps. And they have got different ones. There's one which has a particular technology that they have it among the world. They have very few companies who have it. It's called the fluorescent and rose bottle caps. They kind of did some designs on it, and they have the technology to produce it. So they even sent a few without even any sign of an MOU. They sent samples to Casapreco. And Casapreco worldwide it, and they sent their specifications. Within a year, they sent them a whole bunch of bottle caps, and they started using that. Then they went back to the website, and then they showed the pirated one, and they show you the non-pirated one, the new one, so that you use that identifiers. That what were they trying to do? They were trying to curb the piracy. And what has technology done? Technology helped them to reduce their transaction costs, finding a responsible and a very good trading partner who could actually give them what they wanted. It took a year before Casapreco actually visited them to even see them. So most of the negotiations were done by letters of credit and then other banking formalities that will establish that this company is credible. I'm not saying that the internet was what established, the internet established the conversation. But as I said yesterday, you don't know who is sitting down, whether he's sitting in his bedroom or some beach, just chatting with you. But they use the bank to establish the formalities concerning trading the two companies, and they were able to do that transaction. Another companies have done that. There's a company called Lisden, Garments and Fabrics. When they came up from a setup in Ghana, they used to produce, still produce African clothing. And they came from Cote d'Ivoire, so they started producing very quality clothing. And they wanted to do labels. But by the time they ordered labels from Ghana, this was around 1999. The labels that they did from Ghana, when you iron them, then they bend up or crumple, or when you wash them once, they just the writing and description of them yellow. So the thing is medium C, and you know what the N stands for. After you wash it, it drops N. So what they decided to do is that they wanted very good labels for their clothing. And they started looking for some through Accra. They didn't get a very good one. What here was not very good for them. Then the guy is a French guy, the owner of the company. So he typed the French word for labels in Google and Yahoo rather. And he sent it to a website that of a Tunisian company. And the Tunisian company started discussing the first they came in English. And the guy realized that they could actually be more French based. So he started writing to them in French, and it became more comfortable to actually deal with him. Within a month, after establishing letters of credit and all the formalities with the banks, they were able to buy and order labels from them. And they used it for about 5 years. The bunch of labels they got from that company. Now I'm showing you the blue value that companies are actually making with the internet. You don't need to hear different stories of that they hear a credit card before you could pay. There are many different ways that you actually establish business relationships and get value from. I have friends who have actually ordered mosquito repellent, special types from Thailand, only all through the internet. But unfortunately for him, when he brought it here, the smell was not good. So he lost, he couldn't sell it on the Ghanaian market. That's another, you can't smell through the internet. That's the only problem that the internet cannot do for you. You can see the product, you can see by the smell. It was actually a wristband. You wear it and it's supposed to be a mosquito repellent. But the smell was too much. Or the oil, sorry. The oil was too much to be able to sell. So substitutes can always come into the system, but how into the market, but how do you respond to them? How do you use IT to create new networks of partners to respond to them? The other one is customers. Can customers easily switch competitors' products? Yes, it can easily happen. Many companies are having this problem because of the fact that information is getting to others faster. Now, all the banks who are doing internet banking, you can easily go online and look at what the services they offer and make your own choice. So if we have an opportunity of reading, like I told you yesterday, ratemyprofessor.com, and there are 3 professors who are going to teach a particular course, and they are all their ratings here and there. I think as a student, you advise yourself and go for the one whose assignments are not great. I remember in Lagos, there was last semester, there was a course that I was teaching in the marketing department. And they were supposed to choose between, I think, relationship marketing and then internet marketing. Then when they were becoming, the students who began with me, the first day they came, my class was like 60 students. And I started talking about the assignment, like we writing a research proposal, the next week it was 30. Then they all moved to that class. That class, the lecturer told them very interesting things. But as the semester went on, then they realized that the research proposal is the same thing they are going to write in their exams. So it's like you don't need to actually study for exams. What you are doing is what you are going to write in the exam. So, and they realized that the notes were too much. Then all of a sudden, the class went back to change their mind, to come back again to my class. So by the time the semester ended, I ended up with about 33 or 30, but only 30 wrote the exams anyway. Which is actually, I was surprised because I was asking myself that these things, they keep on switching here and here, giving, always trying to test which of them will be very good. Because it's not about the, it's not about the content too. Where I'll get A is more important. So if the possibility of getting A is here, you come to where you get A. And that is how customers are. You are always consistently evaluating the value proposition that we put before you. When companies come to you and they are telling you that you can do this for you, can do this for you, you are always evaluating them. Like MTN said, everywhere you go, but sometimes really not everywhere you go. Why? When I think it's not everywhere. Have you had a problem before? You are standing by the person, the person has been written off. And when you move to the other one, after some time, you realize that it was better where you were. Then you come back and switch. The last one is bargaining power of suppliers. The bargaining power of suppliers has to do with the fact that when you have an opportunity through the internet to see, or through technology to see or access a larger amount of suppliers, you, the firm, though you cannot raise your prices, you can be able to evaluate and choose which supplier is good for you. But the suppliers, if they realize that there are very few, they can also come together in the same market and increase prices, so that the clients or the firms pay the price. Because the suppliers know that there are very few, they will rather collaborate and make money together. So, bargaining power of suppliers can either go for the firm or go against the firm, all depending on the nature of the operations of the firm and how the firm can also use technology. If you can be able to use technology to get other suppliers who may not be in your vicinity, but they can be able to give you the same value, better than what the other suppliers, the current suppliers are doing, you may wonder, you may end up choosing them. ATL talks about a story where they realized that they needed to innovate themselves better than the Chinese products, the Chinese garments that were coming into the market. Now, when they created their website, they used to be the fact that they will release some of their parties and put it online. And they realized that the Chinese go there, the Chinese who are going for partners, they go there, copy the design, and then they put it back into the market. So what they started doing is that they start releasing designs faster than the rate at which you can pirate it. So while the design is already in the market, another one is in production and is already on TV through adverts or magazines or through fashion shows. So that as you pick the design, take it to China, go and pirate it and come back to the market, and the market women are now selling something new, or the desire has moved to something else. I'm 18. We're doing some research with them, they're telling us about how technology and the China syndrome is really affecting them. And they have to do that. Now this year, they brought, before the year began, they brought some of their new designs and give it to lectures in the University of Ghana Business School. And the question I was asking myself, that this is a very interesting way of telling you some of the things that are coming up. And they added a kind of a calendar to you so that you can see that this is what is coming up. And then you can start informing your works. You become have informed purchases throughout the year. That is how the same challenge is what some of these companies are having. Consumers are sometimes bought for choice. Because now there's the pirated one and there's a good one for it. Now, and the pirated one is cheaper. So, but if you are able to get the products to those market women, the market place early enough, and give them a very good price, they trust your product. They will push yours or market yours better than the China one. Because some of them don't want to be known as the one who sells inferior products. So the only thing they can either do is to sell a little bit of yours and a little bit of yes of the other one. That's right. But the challenge is, it's better to build good supplier relationship so that they will fight for you. They will be your market advocates. They go out there and tell you, like you see this new chocolate drink. The advert itself advocates for you to drink this thing. Buy the drink. But it's all because of the passion in which the person who is marketing it is pushing out the products out there. So sometimes suppliers are also having that challenge that even within themselves, there is some piracy. So the clients or the firm who is buying from the supplier is actually small for choice. Which one do I choose? Do I choose the cheap one? Or do I choose the original one? Now for companies who are in the middle, who are studying the market force, there are four key strategies that you can pick up. The low cost leadership. Find a way of reducing or producing your product and at a cheaper price so that you can keep the prices low. So you can take, and you in the marketplace, you differentiate yourself by having the lowest or the lesser priced product, but of good quality. Or you could choose to do product differentiation, where you can combine services together so that your services, the value your service gives to your consumers is better than what your other, the new entrants and others are trying to do. So you can bundle the services together. Like now, as you see that some of the phones come with TV and everything together, and they sell it to you. The idea is that they are bundling services. When they bundle the service, you can be able to get a better or superior offer or superior product or value-added product. Then you can also focus on the market niche. Whilst there is a challenge of trying to sell to a lot of people, you can identify which group is important, can be a target group for you, or is important, it has not been reached, and then you can focus on them. Remember, there's an interesting story Kasaka was telling us that people in Accra think that all the drinks in Accra is just Kasaka and all the drinks that they drink here. But if you go to the north, they have realized that they themselves has not been able to penetrate there. There are some local drinks there that all that they have been doing, they have not been able to sell better than those local drinks. There's local drinks that are locally produced in the north, and they sell better than this. I already understand what I'm trying to say. So the only way you can actually be able to enter to the market maybe by partnering with somebody there, maybe rebranding that local drink as one of your drinks. So there are some communities that get into, you can only focus on a particular niche. For example, when they go to the they wanted to, some customers came to order their products 40-foot container to eat in the US. And the people realized that they were selling it in the Ghanaian shops. So when they saw the amount of products that were being ordered from Casablanca, they asked themselves that, this person with about 2 shops or 3 shops in Virginia is buying this. Why don't we go there ourselves and then start selling in the US? So they want to do a market survey or a market analysis, competition survey, which every good firm will always do. And when they got there, they realized that there were a lot of challenges that the product was going to have if it's going to be sold to a more broader audience. First of all, Ghanaians drink by sitting. We don't stand and drink. We sit down, we take our chairs and sit and drink. So we hold large bottles, pour it in glasses, and that is how we drink. In the US, people drink in the bars, in the pubs, and in their clubs, and they stand, smaller bottles. And they hold, you see it in the movies, how they hold the bottles. Very small, like a Smirnoff bottles. So if you compare those bottles, you are selling this big bottle of drink. Somebody will think that you are going to use the 80 cents. It's very uncomfortable for somebody to go and drink like that and then drink another piece. Secondly, if you are not holding those ones, they are holding the can types, which they don't produce can. The UK today had a challenge that most of the bottles that are used in the UK are recyclable. So they need to start thinking of if they want to sell in that community environment, you need to do that. So what did they do? They said that instead of us rushing and going to the UK and the US, we will still only fulfill orders that Ghanaians want to sell in their shops from come and order from us. But why don't we look at our near environments? Countries that have shared the same culture with us, or by
If you ask a parent, they might call it intuitive. If you ask a musician, they might call it inspiring. To a doctor, it's groundbreaking. To a CEO, it's powerful. To a teacher, it's the future. If you ask a child, she might call it magic. And if you asked us, we'd say it's just getting started.
War or business, some of the inhabitants have come to live in Ghana before, Nigeria, Liberia, all those other countries that surround us. And they started looking at those markets and establishing partnerships. By 2007, they won an award for being one of the companies that have done a very good market, exported products in the sub-region. So they would have spent years trying to get to the US and they would have gained any value. They've got where you have resource complementarities. Something is there, they will complement yours, and they went there. Now, this is an advice that worked for what Casa people. Let me tell you how it didn't work for another company. Yes.
They realized the people were buying they also went
to do everything. They would like to do it themselves. Oh, it's right. Somebody is buying just for this shop. So there are many Ghanaian shops there. So we want to see if it's no, it's not selling to selling for this line of shops. As it was only one individual, not to sell to. And it was only once. He has not even come back to it. Somebody went to the US, and another person went to Austria, another person went to the UK. But it's just about, it's like you go to the nations in the UK, you see Guinness there, and you see other, and sometimes Ghanaians want to favor their own drinks and buy them. For example, they say the Guinness that is done in Africa is thicker, and than the Guinness that is drunk in the UK, because the UK one is lighter. I don't know how to measure. But those who don't know what it's about, some say it's darker, others say it's brighter. They have got their own definitions and let's just run up. I was saying that the same thing that was did not work for another company. When Liston wanted to do this, they wanted to also expand into a place like Nigeria. And when the company, someone came from Nigeria to come and see them, it was a pastor friend who came and collected some of their clothes and said, "You're going to sell to Nigeria." And they never heard from him. They never heard from him. And you see, Casapreco was doing the due diligence of going to the market, find them, and when they meet you, they establish a very good working relationship through the banks. And then somebody uses religion to a very good, which is a very good credibility, source of credibility. Because he is this, he will not do that. And they collected close involved, got the numbers still working again and all the other stories we do in it. So sometimes you all, it doesn't matter, it's not just about moving into the market that you have got resources moving in time. How do you do? How do you ensure that people who sign a contract are committed to the contract? That is why the IT doesn't do it alone. You need to bring in other business requirements that are needed, like what the banks will do for you, and what you also need to do legally and establish contracts. And a lot of people know IT guys, they like doing things without establishing contracts. They are selling pen drive to you and they just send it to you, no receipts. You know it. But you buy toffee at Maxmart, you get a receipt. Would you get a receipt? Yeah, but the IT guys, we always do that. They do a service for you, I'll repair your computer for you. Oh, how much do you have? Then you tell them how much you have. If they do, okay, I'll see you next time. You can also mind you that if it didn't work for you, ended up taking a part and kept the part, how would you want to responsible for it? Because we do everything, we make IT seem as if it's something mystical. So you have done something so strange. And that you shouldn't ask them a lot of questions. You are simply helped you. But you, the client, you have got your right to ask questions. Because a service has been given to you. Even if you are not paying for it, you have spent your time and during your practice is free. At least teach him to do something, teach him about it so that next time he doesn't need to come there. But no, we want it to always come. You never have that call me, I'll come. That's what we like doing anyway. So there are different ways of we approach all these. Now let's look at the other model that has to do the value chain model briefly. The value chain model is a model that looks at the chain of activities that the firm goes through to put this product in the marketplace. Now the chain of activities are plenty. There are some which are seen as primary and some which are seen as secondary. Now, Porter argues that if a firm learns how to do these chain of activities, each of them very well, by reducing the cost of getting any of them done, you add value to the final product that's going to be the marketplace. Because we all price our final product in the marketplace based on the cost of the activities in the value chain. So if I'm able to reduce any stage of these processes, I might be able to increase the value I'll gain from the product I put out. So if I'm going to sell my product for 40 cedis and my profit is 10, so it costs me about 30 cedis to produce a product. In case I'm able to work on my procurement and I'm able to reduce my cost of procuring my raw materials, I may be able to gain more. So that now maybe at the end of the day, it costs me 25 instead of 30 cedis. So now my value is what, 15 cedis. So he says that we need to understand all the chain of activities that our product goes through before the product gets to the marketplace and find out how we can do them very well. I'm sorry that's not very clear. In your book, what page number is that? 131. You can actually see it. Now there are primary activities and there are supporting activities. Now the primary activities has to do with the production and the distribution logistics. And then the supporting activities are the activities that support almost all the other primary activities and help them get done. So your supporting activities include administration and management. It's an important activity which cuts across human resources, technology, or computer design, then procurement. All the other departments or all the other primary activities need procurement. So the supporting activities kind of they are common to all of them. But with the primary activity, you have both inbound logistics, operations, sales and marketing, service, and outbound logistics. Now, if you look at this model very well, it used to look, it is much more related to a manufacturing or a production kind of firm, not a service-oriented firm. Is that not true? Good. But that does not mean that's not applicable. The knowledge is still applicable. To some extent, even though you may not have something like a lot of inbound logistics in a financial firm, there are some certain things that may be characterized as inbound logistics in such a firm too. So let's look at this more about, let's study its applicability than the fact that is this in my firm or is this not in my firm. So let's understand it. This is where your value lies. If you find a way of doing any of these activities and doing them well by using IT to reduce how much it costs you to get any of them done, you can increase or you can add an incremental value to the product that you are making down there. Hence, your consumers buy something better at a cheaper price, and you also get a higher revenue and returns from it. So he says that go back into your firm, look at the value, the chain of activities that helps you to produce anything or lets you put your service out there, and find a way of using IT to support them so that the cost of getting them done is reduced. If you do any of them well, that incremental value will be high, and then your company will gain some value from it. And that is very, very true. As I mentioned about Casablanca trying to do the same thing with the firm, finding a way of outsource distribution. Let us focus on more production and sales and marketing, and we'll do that one well. And they did that one well, and can sell them. Others also use different ways of getting some of these things done. Some companies, they have to lay off others, some of the employees, just to be able to get some of the liabilities off and focus more on their core competence and gain some value from it. Now, in all these, our objective is that we want to use IT to maximize the returns in our company. And we have looked at it in two different ways. The first way is the one that we look at it, the forces that influence the firm in the marketplace. And the second way is look at internally in the firm. What can we do better? The first one was externally, what can we do to what is happening to us in the environment? The forces that come, the impact of suppliers and all those things. Then in the second one, we have looked at internally what the firm can do. Now there's another one that we also can look at, that's the value web. What the value web is, looks at, can you create networks? It's just like the same as what I was explaining concerning outsourcing. Can you create networks that can enable you to increase your value, whether internally or externally? Can you create networks, find partners who can give you something in return that you give something to them? So that whatever you are doing, whatever business you are into, you can be able to get some value from it. And that is what we see with many companies doing today. You go to a bank and all of a sudden you can all, the same bank that you are taking an account with them, they are giving you a car insurance service. But you have to say, what are the bank going to do with car insurance? I hope you understand what I'm trying to say. The idea is that as soon as you join one company, he brings you a value, a family of services. Like whilst you are with Zenith, you can use the same Zenith account to directly pay for your maybe DSTV bills. Or whilst you are with us, when you are using our ATM, you can use the ATM to top up your airtime. What are they trying to do? They are creating a value web, so it becomes one-stop shop. When you come to us, you get almost all the basic things that you need. It's going to come to your time. You join a bank and you can get a school for your child. You can get your shopping done. It's like you have access to Kuala. You have access to Mobi Morningstar. You have access all in one business that you just entered into. Even in hospital, I know some firms are doing the hospital one. As soon as you join them, a hospital automatically is attached to you. All your children can go to, or your family members can go to. So far as that has been declared that it's your family member, and some of you have been adding 100%. See, the day somebody sees all of a sudden becomes a family member. Yeah. So we got down the value web. The other one is the reason why the value web works is what I'm going to try to explain. Is traditionally we think about the fact that when you are adding more resources to a particular production process, like the law of diminishing return, after some time, the more resources you add does not add any incremental value. But today's business is different. Because of the value we can get from networks, everybody comes to a network with a different sort of value. So, or a unique value. So when you come and join a network, you rather kind of increase the current value that we have. When you come to add to us, you interact with me, and the synergy that we get from our business is better than we transacting individually. So instead of 1 + 1 being 2, it becomes 1 + 1 is equal to 3. Because in you relating with me, interacting with me in business, we gain more value. I'll go and say something, oh, there's this contract here, you don't even know about it, you don't even have access to it, but the virtue of the fact that you know it, I can be able to give you access to it. So if you are getting some value, some friendships and some networks bring value, some networks don't bring value. You know them. The right active value, or he's always taking. He's always taking, he's not adding to it. So you are looking for networks that add value. Now let me show you, use that the traditional economists to explain it. We have not distribution returns, which I explained that as you add more resources to your production process, it doesn't add any different value, just marginal value to the output. However, in network economics, when we are adding new participants to a particular community, the community grows in size, and then the value that the community has also grows. So if I know 10 people, and today these 10 people also know other 10 people. In case I'm selling something and expose it to the 10 people, chances are the 10 people to expose to the other 10 people. So invariably, I'm one person. I'm connected to 10 people, but I'm also connected to maybe 100 people in all. That's why when you're on Facebook, they tell you that this is your friends, and the friends of your friends are what? 20,000, but your friends are 100. Let me tell you, the work of your friends is that 20,000 that they are connected to. The same way if you have bad news, the bad news will travel to those 20,000 people. That's why I aspect you also have to understand about it. For example, let me give you show you using some statistics. This is a company, 2 companies that we are in, student companies that we are associated with. This is a company in Uganda. It's called PC Technology. We have known them for about 2 years. And in the 2 years, they have built a fresh number of people on Facebook to 7,000. Now, this is another company that we have known them less than a year, and in just less than a year, they have built 5,000. If I give you money to invest into these 2 companies, where would you put it? This one or, sorry, this one or that one? Yeah, why? This is 5,000. Okay, that's a very good point that I've made. But apart from that, if you're looking at, forget about the number of years, what other reason why would you like to invest in this? If the years are the same, which one will you invest in? Yeah.
The first one, yeah.
This is an example question I asked. Let me see if I have to repeat it again.
So let's discuss it.
Which one do you invest in? I heard someone say something here. This one has 7,000 people. The other one has 5,000 people. I've given you 10,000 Ghana. Forget about the number of years. Where will you invest in?
7,000.
7,000. How many people will invest in 7,000? Where will you invest in? Don't tell me the reason. Where will you invest in?
I'll invest in the 7,000.
The 7,000. How many you invest in the 7,000?
He's the one with the more active users.
How many people will invest? Not if there is. Just tell me 7,000. Okay, what is 7,000? What do you say? 7,000. What do you say?
5,000.
Who will do 5,000? 5,000.
I don't know 5,000.
5,000, 5,000, 5,000. Hey, there is more. Some of them are just raising hands. Where will you go? 5,000. Why will you go 5,000?
That's more active.
Thank you very much. You don't invest. See, that's what the network relationship is. That's the problem about network relationship. If you think the number is what you're looking for, you are wrong. You have to look at the number of people interacting. Number of people interact, active, coming for party meetings, who actually vote. How many of them? This is 7,000, less than 2,000 are active. And then this is 5,000, and you have 2,000, and even this month had gone down. That means that in the previous month, they even had more people active as active users. So where would you be? Where would you be? Now that's one thing about network economics. If you make the mistake and look at numbers, you will not, the value is not generated by numbers, it's generated by the synergy. Who are interacting, who are meeting, and then discussing. But sometimes we are focused on to the numbers. But numbers don't show up. They're not they doesn't show commitment. Commitment is shown in those who are active users. I hope that one you understand me.
Yes.
So we are focused on even the radio stations, they always are not just followers, active listeners. That's why they are doing those promotions. Continue, keep your dial here, we'll announce something at 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock, and then if you hear it, you can win. The whole idea is yes. TX one, you got it wrong.
No, I have a question.
He's not at the TA anymore, we'll give it to him.
I have a question. My question is this. If we look at the new lights, I can see the new lights is going up, it's going up at 1.8%, okay? That means I'm getting new visitors, okay? Now, when I look at monthly active,
I gave you only just 1 month. If I show you the whole thing, their new lights is just because you did a conference, that's why you are seeing it going up. It's nothing new. If over 2 years you are getting 1.8, it's not good.
okay.
It's 2 years.
Yeah, we didn't look at the year. You said we should consider.
Yeah, but you're going to new lights, and I'm looking at one that will be new lights. But most important, we also have but the most important thing is that our advice is to look at. You see, even look at daily active users, and even look at monthly active users. The daily active users cover how it is. And look at the daily active users here. It goes up and then it comes right down. Even some days, it's just flat. Christmas time, all the time, just flat. Whilst you have, at least, it's always up. But this is just December statistics, so you cannot hold it, hold on to them on that. But you always have, sorry. No, that's it. But what I want to point out is more about the active users. So you can have a product that you can, it's on the market, and no, you don't have an active patronage for it. Then somebody can bring his product within 2 months, he has an active patronage for it. And if I should have even gone into the type of users they have, it's surprising that the one from BC Tech, the 7,000, only 2,000 are from Uganda. The rest are from different parts of the world. And then the 5,000 one, 4,000 are the ones from Ghana. So you can just imagine. If you are if you are giving money to advertise to Africans, where will you get more Africans? The smaller one. Because the other 7,000, if 7,000, 22,000 are from Africa, this is really bad. But it also depends on the nature of the business. So, in a nutshell, sustaining competitive advantage is a very difficult thing. Sustaining competitive advantage. I don't know whether you will do strategic management as part of any of your courses.
Yeah, it's somewhere, but we don't know what we do.
Okay. You need to do that. And if you never do that, tell them they should teach you the resource-based view of the firm and the resource-based theory.
We should tell them.
You are supposed to know that. That one tells you how to sustain. It's beyond this class time to be able to talk about that. But that one tells you how to sustain competitiveness. Yeah, it tells you, and it's very, very interesting. It tells you how to sustain competitiveness. So you can write RBT or RBV, resource-based theory. You can read it on your own. It actually argues that to be able to become sustain competitiveness, your resource has to have 4 attributes. 1, the resource should be valuable. 2, it should be rare. Not rare in terms of being scarcity. It should be rare in functionality. It's like me having Word and you having Word, Microsoft Word. But what I can do with Microsoft Word, you cannot do with it. So it's more about the functionality than rather the possession. See, more many IT guys like and do have it. It's not about what you can do with it. So they go to their computer, they have a lot of things, but what you can do with it is very poor. It's like somebody buy a very expensive computer, but cannot generate in $1,000 cedis for me a month. And maybe somebody can have some old SP laptop, and you design maybe 3 websites a day, and getting maybe $5,000 every month out of the same laptop. So it's more about being rare in functionality. Now, these two will help you gain advantage, but not sustain it. What will help sustain it is, 1, if the resource is not perfectly imitable, that you cannot perfectly copy it, you cannot perfectly imitate it. That even if you are imitating it, it will cost you more to imitate it than it will cost you to produce it. Then secondly, if you cannot be strategically substituted. And that's what we are talking about these things in one way or the other when we are looking. If you cannot copy it perfectly and you cannot perfectly substitute it, I will sustain my competitive edge. That is why people spend so much coaching people so that they can recreate what? The same talent that is in this company. I would rather steal his manager, bring him to my company, and create the value out of him. But sometimes people forget that the manager does not work alone. It is the network of relationships that make him who he is. It's like going to buy tourists and bringing him to your team and he doesn't score more. After some time, oh, maybe like this year, he's always so you always have to know. You always have to know that whenever you attract new talent, you have to realize that it's not if you are buying, you can't just buy Messi. You have to buy the rest. That's what to make him to make money. The only people who can buy and they will be players. No. Maybe Eto. Eto is where he shines in everywhere he goes. But that is how it is. The truth is that value is not created in just one person. And I think somebody said it when you are defining what the company is. A company is more than what you said. It's more than one person. Yeah. And it's more than one person. Even if you have to score the goal, somebody has to do the penalty for you to communicate it the back. So don't worry anyway. Otherwise, you end up being Dubai. So I end up being Dubai. So this is in a nutshell what we wanted to do with IT for better advantage. I think we are about 15 minutes break.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we can come back about 10 to 5. It's not that 4 or 5. Then you have more time to. Then come back.
If you ask a parent, they might call it intuitive. If you ask a musician, they might call it inspiring. To a doctor, it's groundbreaking. To a CEO, it's powerful. To a teacher, it's the future. If you ask a child, she might call it magic. And if you asked us, we'd say it's just getting started.